What if the solution to growing your business was about systems? Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Probert.
Hey, I'm Jonathan's co host, Laura DeFranco. Welcome to Systemized.
We're here to talk to successful entrepreneurs about the systems that help them grow their business. It's what we wanted to know when we started ours, and it's what's going to help you build yours. Today, we're excited to welcome financial co-pilot Anthony Englert to the show. How's it going, Anthony?
Thanks, Jonathan. Great. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome to have you. Let me tell you guys a little bit about Anthony first. Anthony Englert is the founder of Alpha Advisory and spent 15 years at Goldman Sachs. He advised hundreds of entrepreneurs ranging from 1 million to 100 million plus, turning their complex visions into clear financial strategies. His work helps founders achieve the wealth, freedom, and the impact they set out to create.
Anthony, I've been so excited to have you on the show today. Just you've done so much for me, and I have so much gratitude for the perspective shift you helped me with. Your program is called the Founders Flight Plan, and we're going to
That's
hear
right.
more about that in a minute. But I really just wanted to shout you out because the aha for me was pretty big that day when we met.
Yeah.
And you're also just the coolest person. And I've just loved knowing you and networking with you and all that good stuff.
Oh, well, thanks, Laura. Flattery will get you anywhere, right?
All right, Anthony, can you tell us about something in your business that you implemented that saved you time, effort, or money?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's lots of systems that go into building any business, and certainly plenty of financial systems. But if I could, Jonathan, I want to just take a step back and share some context before I give you my answer to that question.
Sure.
So when I work with entrepreneurs, I'm meeting them at a lot of different places in the life cycle of their business, and the analogy that we use is a flight plan. So I'm going to throw out some revenue numbers as a guideline for people, but it depends on the situation, of course. But usually between zero and $1 million, folks are on the runway. They're either building a lifestyle business or they're kind of ramping up and validating before they go scale to build something bigger. Between 1 million and 5 million, they're climbing altitude and getting up to where they can really maximize the efficiency of what that business can do. Between 5 and 15 million, they're cruising along at altitude. A lot of people think this is the time to go to the back of the plane and have a drink. It's not. You can't take your eye off the ball. Otherwise, you're not going to get where you want to go. And then ultimately, you land, you exit the business. But it's not just about safely touching down. It's then where are you going to go and what are you going to go do next. So at all those different stages, business owners and entrepreneurs are faced with lots of different challenges. And the answer to most of those challenges involves a system. So early on in the business, it's going to be about optimizing your operations, right? And so the first step to that is creating SOPs like you help people do to actually get whatever that thing is in your head out of your head so somebody else can do it. That also gives you the ability to create systems around client experience, right? So that it's not, I'm relying on an A player who shows up every day and does their darndest to do the best for my team and my clients. It's, sometimes I'm going to be able to hire a C player and I've got this thing so dialed in that they can just step in and follow the procedure. And, you've got it down to a science where anybody could do it. Those are the kinds of things that allow you to build and compound, so you can focus on the bigger, more exciting things. But I mean, there's systems in everything, systems in marketing, systems in how you approach finance. And so I think it's a mistake to think that you can't systematize, and that's why the work that you do is so important. And this is the number one driver of what contributes to value on the back end. So we can go down that rabbit hole and talk more about it if you want, but just as a teaser, when somebody else comes in to buy your company, whether it's a peer in the industry or it's a big private equity company, they don't want to buy your job. So if you don't have systems in place, what really drives the value of the business? I think a lot of people think it's all about revenue. Yes, revenue is important, but at the end of the day, the growth story is what drives the emotional part of the buying process. But it's all the metrics and the systems that are the logical, rational backup that get you that premium value. So if you're earlier on, systems are your key to unlock more growth, and if you're later on, systems are your key to unlock transitioning your business into a wealth engine. Either way, they're critical.
Definitely are. And talking about your flight path, specifically for those lower end, the
Mhm.
0 to 100K and the 100K to a million, what do you
Yeah.
think are the top systems that people should be focusing on within those ranges just to start getting their business out there and and really
Yeah.
going.
I think the kind of first freedom that you get as a business owner is the freedom of independence, right? And so, you're just starting out, you're trying to figure out, does the market like this product? Can I sell this product? Do I have the pricing dialed in? But once you, and that, by the way, that's your first objective on the runway, right? Is to figure out what you can sell, how you can sell it, how much you can sell it for. But once you have something that it's like, okay, I think people like this, it's more or less dialed in. I can sell it consistently. Now it's time to start systematizing. I would say you can almost never systematize too early, unless that means not getting off of the starting line, right? So as soon as you got that revenue and you're seeing a pattern of repeat in terms of your sales process, you should systemize that so that you're not making mistakes. And, oh, I forgot to offer that free consultation, that free, demo, whatever it might be. Then okay, great. I'm getting people signed on. I should probably systematize how I onboard them so that I don't have somebody has a great experience and we're getting off on the right foot and building momentum, and the other person has a terrible experience and they're like, oh, I made a mistake. How do I get my money back? And then even the work that we do, right? Depending upon the type of business you're in, there should be a system and a process to make sure that everybody's getting the same results in a timely manner. So I don't think that you can under systematize, or let me say that differently. I don't think that you can not have enough systems. The other thing I'll just highlight too is we as entrepreneurs are traditionally bad at this, right? The person who's the visionary that's seeing how all the pieces connect and, oh, here's this new opportunity. I'm going to go launch this new thing. I'm going to create this new thing. They are typically not the person who says, let me sit down and figure out how all these boxes go together and what the process flow is and what's the risk and where could it go wrong. It's different personality types. It's very rare that I meet an entrepreneur that has both those in one person. And this is kind of the foundation for Gino Wickman's traction work, right? Of integrators and visionaries. There's other terms that other people use, but most entrepreneurs are good at chasing the vision, and they need to find a partner, either somebody internally or a service. Shout out to System Success Pro, that can help them to proceduralize and standardize and take the risk out of their business, because that's not, the entrepreneur is good at taking risk, and this other mind, or operator or COO, their job is to take the risk back out, and it's a balance, and you need both.
Oh my God, Anthony. You just hit on so many golden nuggets. I want you guys to rewind to the 5 or 6 that he's dropped so far in the last 2 seconds, 2 minutes. Yes, 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 and yes. So Jonathan and I just finished this process where he kind of grabbed my hand, because I'm that crazy ass alien visionary one. And he's this one that actually sees that map you were talking about. And he's like, listen, we're going to go step by step, and I can see it, so I can help you. And I swear at the end of that, the relief, the palpable relief feeling I had, this was about front end client acquisition, the onboarding process. When I saw that dialed in, I'm like, it just felt so good. So you just hit on all of my gold star pieces of this systems thing. So thank you.
If I can just quickly add to that, even in my own business, right? I got a million ideas, a million things going on. And when we sit down and spend an afternoon or a couple hours with my team, and we do draw something up and we do systematize it, for me, it's such a relief, because I'm like, okay, now I know that whatever that thing is, that process, that client experience, that sales acquisition process, that's dialed in. And now I can free up my brain and my white space to go solve some other problem, rather than constantly worrying about, are we going to let somebody down? Right.
Yep, exactly. Oh, there's such relief in that. Heck, what if we want a day off?
You deserve it.
Right?
You earned it.
That's the thing, is we could just have somebody come in, they could see this thing, they can take it over, they can do it, and we can have our day off that doesn't have to be with our phone constantly in our face, right? That's not a day off, you guys. Jonathan, do you want him to go a little deeper, or we should move on to a little entrepreneurial stuff here?
I did want to ask one more question about
Yeah.
how you came up with and developed this flight path, because I know I was talking to my mom about it, is that she got one thing, and then you said earlier that you actually developed it even further. I just want to know a bit about the process there.
Yeah. Do you remember the dotted line, Anthony, on your
I
chart?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that dotted line is a shift in thinking. And every entrepreneur, I think, is going to be presented with this shift. Some of them don't know that they even have this choice. But the shift is this: it's stop thinking about your business as a source of income, and instead think about it as an asset and a wealth creation vehicle, right? So if you choose to have a lifestyle business, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But this is the choice that most people don't realize. If you choose to have a lifestyle business, then you're going to generate income in the business, but it's not an asset. It's not really worth anything because nobody else wants to buy that job. And so, maybe it might have a couple tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of value, but it's not going to be multi-million dollar sale if you were to sell the company, right? So in that world, the opportunity is to move the income out of the business in tax advantaged ways and then invest it in compounding growth and returns and all those things. That's kind of like the longer, slower way. But if your mission, if you love what you do and you want to stay operating in that business, then, like you were just saying, Jonathan, dial it in, get those systems. And then like what you were saying, Laura, so you could take a day off. The other side of that is somebody who says, no, this business is either needs to be bigger than me because this is the vision and mission that I want to bring in the world and the change I want to bring about, or I love this, but this is just a chapter, a season. I need a big exit so that then I can go do the thing that really lights my heart up.
Mm.
If you're in those camps, then I think the systems become even more important because, as I was alluding to earlier, now you're building value in the eyes of a buyer, right? And that's a hard thing for us entrepreneurs to recognize. Is like, this is our baby, this is our thing, we love it, but you have to get stone cold and get the eyes of the buyer and say, well, if I was to come in and buy this company, this entity, this product, this service, well, what am I really buying here? And as I said earlier, it's the systems that create reproducible, consistent outcomes. That's what a buyer really gets excited about. Not only is there this big story about the future and the growth and everything's going to be great, but then being able to see this thing is really dialed in. I can buy this business and I buy this team or these processes, and I don't need to keep the founder running around here to be the glue and hold it all together. That's what gives a business real value. And so that's the shift that I help open entrepreneurs up to. That's that dotted line that Laura, you were talking about on the diagram is, to have the opportunity to think about your business as your greatest asset. Because if you're an entrepreneur, that's probably where 80% of your net worth lives. So why are we going to talk about stocks and bonds? Let's talk about the crown jewel on your balance sheet. And that's your business.
Nice. Thank you, Anthony. That aha that I had that day was pretty big. And I love having ninja moves when it comes to mindset. I mean, it can really change everything.
Absolutely.
I know you know this, but entrepreneurial journey can be challenging at the least. And we talked about a certain level of entrepreneurs and certain level of income, but for that person getting on the runway, what do you think is the most important business building tip? Maybe aside from the systems, they're out there doing all the things, they're throwing all the spaghetti.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important one you want to share?
It's counterintuitive and it's a cliche, but it's worth repeating. It's that you can't be all things to all people, right? So inside of that, the direct advice is pick a niche. But I think more maybe tangibly, I've worked with a lot of marketing people that basically just wanted to put lipstick on a pig, right? And it never felt authentic and dialed in. I worked with a marketing consultant who helped me find like my voice and how to talk about what I do in ways that light me up and I get passionate about. And so I think that would be my ultimate tip is figure out who it is that you really want to serve, and then bring that avatar into every conversation, right? Every team meeting, even if it's just yourself. Don't think about how can I sell XYZ product to ABC person. How can I serve Sally or John? And actually name that person, think about their identity, and then kind of get inside their head and what are the problems, what are the challenges they're facing. This is, I think, how you create marketing that stands out and is authentic and resonates with the people that it's supposed to, and it repels all the other people that you could maybe serve, but that aren't that ideal fit. And look, when you are under, even under a couple 100,000 in revenue, you're so focused on, anybody that can fog a mirror and can pay for my services. I desperately want to sign them up. But that's why I say it's counterintuitive, but that is the long, slow way. If you want to see the quick, fast, explosive growth, it's about niching down. But for me, that wasn't niching in on like, oh, I'm only going to work with doctors who own their own practice. For me, it was more identifying the archetype, the personality, the way this person thinks and shows up. So for me, I don't have industry specific. You have to be this type of an entrepreneur, or this type of a person, or for me, it's about if you are an entrepreneur that wants to make a big impact and change the world, then I want to invest in you and your business and help you take it to the next level, right? And so, but until you get that clarity, you're stuck in that like, oh well, you have a business, I have a business. Can I sell you my services? And that becomes a really tough sell because you're nothing to nobody instead of something to somebody.
You guys, this tip is foundational badassery. So again, review, rewind, listen to what he just said about ideal client, do the work, and it will catapult you. So yes, Anthony, to that one again. All right, we got one more question for you today. One of the goals of Systemized is to support fellow entrepreneurs in their businesses to get to that goal of that time freedom we all crave so much, right? The lifestyle they want to live, the time freedom. What has entrepreneurship done for you personally? Like, what did it allow you to do that maybe was unexpected?
That is a great question. I think for me, I would say it's allowed me to share my authentic voice and to serve the people that I want to serve. So that's the short answer. Here's the longer story. As I think you mentioned in the bio, Jonathan, I was at Goldman Sachs for 15 years as a wealth manager there. And Goldman Sachs, you have to have $25 million to open an account. Sometimes you can get an exception, but not a dime below 10. And working with that level of wealth, those are all folks that have already had big exits, right? Like companies that went public. And a lot of them have just kind of, I had my one big thing. I worked my tail off for 15, 20 years to get there. I had my one big exit. Now I'm going to go sit on a beach. And that's great. They deserve every cocktail on that beach. They earned it. But for me, it just didn't feel like I was really moving the needle, right? Like I was helping them buy a bigger yacht or go on a nicer vacation, not changing the world. Because they did that without me as they built their business. And so I kept trying to lean in harder and harder to working with entrepreneurs, and the firm and I would say the wealth management industry in general kept pushing back, being like, well, they don't have any assets yet. Right. And it's like, well, that's not true. They just don't have any assets that you as a financial industry person can manage or, sell an insurance product or something like that too. I wanted to talk more about the business and how to put all these other financial products around the business and around the entrepreneur to help them achieve their vision, their goals, not just to sell them like this one thing. So the harder I leaned in, the harder they pushed back. And ultimately, I just, there was a classic day where, nothing crazy happened, but I wanted to do a particular service for a particular client, and compliance and legal and management all said absolutely not. And it just kind of hit me like a wave. And I went, I've been swimming up water for 15 years. And I've reached a point where I literally can't swim any harder, or any further. I gotta do this thing on my own. And so it's been an incredible journey to now get to be on the other side of the table. And, at times it's been a little humbling because I would have told you I really understood entrepreneurs, having worked with them as my specialty. But, it's different when it's, your bank account that's writing the payroll checks. So I think maybe I even have a little more, better understanding and more empathy, not just sympathy, now for my entrepreneurial peers.
Awesome. And that's always great, helping the people who are actually trying to change the world with an actual vision rather than just the uber rich trying to buy the fancy toys.
Yep. Another just fun fact there is when I first started at Goldman, one of the lessons I learned was that all the people we think of as wealthy and rich, and today we use the term influencers, but basically anybody you see on the TV or movies or actors or yes, those people have money. Plenty of them are Goldman Sachs clients. But when you looked at, well, this client's worth 20 million, this one's worth 30 million, this one's worth 25 million, this one's worth 200. Whoa, what's different? The ones that were worth 10 times everybody else, those were always the entrepreneurs, or maybe like an occasional trust fund kid every now and again. But most of the time they were entrepreneurs. And so that was a big aha for me that, this is, fresh out of college, I joined Goldman, and I'm like, oh, it's not the people that I see on TV or the athletes or whatever. It's actually the entrepreneurs. And you can even double down on that, right? Like look at the athletes that are billionaires, like Serena Williams, LeBron James, from another time, Tiger Woods. They were great in their sport, but they created their wealth as entrepreneurs. Jay-Z is another one, right? Like a lot of rappers drop some songs, they sell some concert tickets. Taylor Swift is probably one of the few that's been able to parlay that into billions. Where Jay-Z became a billionaire was his record labels, his clothing brands. And so there is no greater wealth creation engine tool method than being an entrepreneur. Part of what led me to go to Goldman was to get educated and to be mentored on what is the best financial strategy. And I'm here to tell you there is no silver bullet. Think of it more as like a toolkit. If you walked into Home Depot and you were there to buy a paintbrush and some salesperson was like, no, but this is the best shovel. This shovel has like a foam grip handle, right? Like you're like, I need a paintbrush. A shovel doesn't help me. There's a different financial product and tool for a different time and different situation, but there is no universal one silver bullet financial product that I've ever found. I'm still searching. If somebody finds it, you let me know. But the closest thing that comes to that is owning your own business. Now, it's not a silver bullet. It comes with a lot of risk. You got to manage a lot. You got to wear a lot of hats. You earn every penny of it. But that is the closest thing to the fast track to wealth creation, is to own your own business. And so that was probably the greatest insight that I got out of my 15-year education on Wall Street.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you so much for being here and what you do in the world.
Absolutely.
Before we go, we're going to let you get the chance to shout yourself out and tell people where to find you.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job of that already. So I'll just add, if people want to learn more about me or my firm, you can go to, you find me on LinkedIn, Anthony Englert, or Alpha Advisory is the name of the firm. It's spelled funny. It's ALFA Advisory. And then also as a little bonus for all your listeners, we have a assessment that you can take totally free. I'm not going to ask for your email address and spam you and follow up. What the intention of the survey is about 15 questions that help you understand where you are on your own flight plan. And then it'll make recommendations based on what stage you're at. Are you on the runway? Are you in takeoff? You're on altitude, or you're on landing? What is most important to focus on in your business at that time, right? So on the front end, it might be things like operations, systems, independence. On the back end, it might be more like raising capital, right? Or buying other companies. So I just offer that up to your listeners as a free resource if you want to figure out where am I in the flight, and then what are the things that I should be focused on to help grow the value of my business and also my income. It's a free tool, and I hope you use it, and I hope that you find some value in it and it helps you change the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. You can find his links in the description. Also, remember to grab your free System Success Guide, which will get you started with systemizing your business.
And you guys, that guide is another really great tool. Anthony, thank you for offering your tool. The Systemized Guide, you guys, is going to get you started on the runway of the systems. All right. It's a really, really helpful thing.
I'll give you a little hint. If you're on the runway, it's probably going to say, go talk to Jonathan and get systemized.
Good. That's awesome.
Okay, guys, that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. And remember, for epic business growth, get systemized.